So we're learning new details about how Jeffrey Epstein and his associates allegedly transported young women through his network of sexual abuse. The North Jersey Record reports that flight logs obtained in the investigation into Epstein show New Jersey's Teterboro Airport was a travel hub for the disgraced financier's sex trafficking ring. And according to statements from court filings, Epstein allegedly frequented the small airport to deliver dozens of underage girls to his rich friends, including royals and politicians. Some were as young as 14. So for more on this, we want to bring in the writer of that article from the New Jersey Record, columnist Chris Maag. It's Maag, right?
Maag.
Maag? Okay. Sure. Thank you very much for joining us, Chris. So for people who are not in this section of the country, in the Northeast, they may not be familiar with Teterboro Airport. It's not a very big airport.
No, not at all. It is located 12 miles west of New York City, of Manhattan. It's in a floodplain. And what's important to know about Teterboro Airport is that because of its location so close to Manhattan, it's one of the favored destinations for some of the wealthiest people on Earth, celebrities. Whenever they need to come and go from New Jersey and New York, many of them live in our area in northern New Jersey. That's how we know about it. You have to get across the river, which is sometimes difficult. But once you do that, it's right there, and it's the easiest, quickest way to escape the traffic in LaGuardia and JFK and get out of the area.
Okay, so tell me about these flight logs. What are we learning?
Sure. So the flight logs encompass 150 pages of very small print with thousands of flights. What we're learning is that there were 730 flights by Jeffrey Epstein's multiple airplanes. He had up to 6 pilots at any one time. And he would fly most commonly between Teterboro Airport, New York area, and Palm Beach International, where he had one of his mansions. Other common destinations include his Zorro Ranch in New Mexico. He also flew a lot to Europe.
So this isn't just about him commuting back and forth between his homes. Who else were on these planes?
Sure. A lot of the people who appear on planes on the records are summarized by their initials. So we don't know everyone. Although when a new underage girl appears on a log, oftentimes what will happen is her full name will appear the first time she rides. And then after that, her initials, we believe to be her initials, will show up on many subsequent flights for a number of months or years, and then she drops off.
I take it you might not know this, but when someone who's underage is flying domestically, there isn't any additional documentation, confirmation that that person's parent is allowing them to fly?
If one is flying commercially through Newark Airport, yes, you need a letter of consent, you need some kind of an identification for the minor, for yourself, and a letter of consent from the parent saying, this is my daughter or son, and I give this person permission to fly with her or him. At an airport like Teterboro, what we're learning is that private, wealthy individuals like Jeffrey Epstein control the entire system.
Wow.
They come and go as they please. It's been described to us as, think of it like a boat marina.
Wow.
That's about as much control as there is.
And so the way these flights were recorded, that has sort of changed over the years?
Yes.
Okay. So
for years, beginning in 1995, when the logs begin, through 2007, many full names appear, along with many initials. The flight logs are crammed with names and initials. February 2007, what's going on then is Jeffrey Epstein is he's coming under a lot of fire from the FBI and from local law enforcement in Florida for running an alleged sex trafficking ring. February 2007, all the names drop off the flight logs. The only names that are left are the pilot, who kept these logs, who is named David Rogers, and the initials of what appear to be co-pilots.
So no initials even for the passengers on the planes?
No initials.
All
the names, it just goes blank.
So as I understand it, and according to your reporting, the people from Teterboro Airport, they've been trained to identify illegal activity, to look out for these sort of things. If you see something, say something. Were they not seeing anything? Were they not saying, what was going on?
We don't know, essentially. It's a pretty locked down, privatized organization. The Port Authority of New York and New Jersey owns the entire airport. The FAA runs the control tower there. But most of the flights fly through these fixed base operations, 5 of them at the airport. And they are locked boxes. We don't really know what goes on in there. We do know that at the airport in St. Thomas, where Jeffrey Epstein kept a private 78-acre private island nearby, that airport workers there absolutely knew what was going on and were disgusted by it. We would assume that people at Teterboro would notice similar things, it's the same activity.
Right.
But as far as we can tell so far, it was never reported.
You know, it really makes you wonder how many of these other airports are operating in this way around the country, you know? So are the pilots cooperating with investigators? Are authorities from the airport cooperating with investigators? What's going on with that?
Sure. We don't know exactly what's going on with operators at the airport, the fixed base operators. We haven't learned anything yet about the investigation into them, if there is one. We do know that of the 6 pilots we've seen mentioned in various court documents, 2, Larry Visosky and David Rogers, are cooperating fully with the FBI. They have complied with subpoenas to turn over all their flight records and are testifying and giving depositions.
Chris, you know, the more we talk about this, the more it really does appear to be like an onion. Like there are layers and layers and layers. And sure, you recognize he's a wealthy guy, and so he can do a lot with a lot of money. But clearly there were a lot of other people looking the other way or actively participating in order to pull off what appears to be much more than just a guy who liked massages from young girls. It looks much larger than this.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that when Jeffrey Epstein was alive, many of those people saw that as an opportunity to save their own skins by testifying against him. Now that he has committed suicide, it appears, then all of these folks who are in his orbit have something to lose because there's no longer a top dog to prosecute. And so if one is a pilot who is knowingly engaging in trafficking underage girls across the country and around the world, that's a potential violation of the Mann Act. So these pilots and others involved have great opportunity to flip early and often.
Man, great reporting. Thank you so
Thanks so much.
Really interesting story, Chris Maag.
Appreciate it.